he kept doing
Like, I'm
that,
I'm fine. Where are you from?
and then she just goes,
The f-
"Are you fucking retarded?"
uh,
And I remember like, oh yes, this movie like that would be a problem today.
just because you're using the word retarded.
Yeah. Also, that movie, which was really nice too, Tropic Thunder.
He
Couldn't make
can't
that
go full.
today.
You can't go full retard.
Well, you have that. You have you have that. You have Simple Jack.
Oh my god,
You have Blackface.
blackface, Robert Downey.
So like, but it's sort of like he got grandpa in.
Yeah, I guess it's one of the last of its kind, where it was acceptable to. I mean, because are we the essence of it comes from like, what are we laughing at that joke? You know, like, are we laughing at the fact that he's a retard? Are we laughing at the fact that he's black? Are we laughing at more than one thing? Are we laughing at the fact that he plays a retard in the movie Tropic Thunder?
But the Robert
Like,
Downey doesn't play the retard.
no. What is it? This guy's name?
Yeah, Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. There you go.
He caught
Ben
up.
Stiller plays the retard.
Yeah, and then
Uh,
well, I mean, he he plays a mentally challenged person.
okay. Yes. Of course. I'm sorry.
No,
yes.
no.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it to be morally high ground. I'm just saying that I don't. Yeah, that is weird, right? Because they have that person who's mentally challenged, and then you have Robert Downey Jr. saying, "Don't go full retard." So it's yeah.
And then talking about the I Am Sam, that was another one. But that was like,
well,
you never saw I Am Sam?
is that like the killer?
No, that's the one with Sean Penn that he like that. The whole reference to that was because Sean Penn did a movie where he kind of
Okay.
went retarded.
Okay,
Sorry, mentally challenged
that he is mentally challenged on the movie.
in the movie,
Hey.
and it's a like a documentary timepiece. Like it's very nice. I cried at the end of it. It was like shit. Like the struggles that people that are mentally challenged have to go through is rough, among other things. But yeah, and he was talking about like Robert Downey Jr. That's all. The whole thing came from. Yeah, you can never go full.
Why?
Sorry.
Because on the movie they said that phrase.
No, because I think he was making a reference to Sean Penn, the actor,
Uh-huh.
portraying and saying that he went too far by the way that he acted.
But
But yeah.
But I mean, I'm happy that society has grown to the point where we can look back at certain things and be like, oh, this was a bit rough around the edges. But isn't it fucked that we can? It feels like we will not have again those movies, like that movie. I mean, that was a fucking amazing movie, and
Well,
or sorry, yeah.
no. I'm thinking like, what if we acknowledge the fact that it's fucked up? You know, we acknowledge the fact that those jokes or those commentaries or whatever are fucked up, and then we just have an actor in the movie like giving the person shit for saying that fucked up shit. You know?
But then it would sort of kill the. I mean, like if you have to acknowledge, it's sort of like when a comedian does stand up, right?
And then he has to explain the joke.
And he's saying some fucked up shit. If he has to say, by the way, I'm not racist, then it cuts the whole. It sort of breaks the fourth wall. I think.
So
I don't
then
know.
why even have the joke? Is that what you're saying? Why even joke about it?
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but like I mean,
I'm saying.
yeah,
I'm saying like. It's very similar to stand up. In stand up, you can be fucked up if it's funny enough. So, I think that when you're doing insensitive jokes, it has to be funny so that it can overcome.
the insensitivity.
Because, bro, okay, let's be real. When you're chilling with your friends, you're more fucked up than you would in public, right? Like, I mean, if you
Right.
think I'm fucked up here,
Yeah,
you
especially
know,
close friends. Yeah.
I mean, chill with me and John on a barbecue, and so
Yeah, you don't want to see the green room.
yeah, you don't want to see the green room. So, so what I'm trying to say is the reason why when you're with friends, you're able to have these inside jokes and shit is because the context that you all live in is very accurate and very it's the same for all of you, right? So you have these little jokes that you make with yourself, and because you know each other well and you're not afraid of offending the other person, when you're joking, part of making the other person laugh is catching them off guard. And the way you catch them off guard is by saying some shit that's even more fucked up than he would have thought you would be able to. And that was like, fuck, that's funny because this motherfucker dared to say this shit, right? So obviously it's harder when you scale it to like masses because you also have to deal with the sensitivities of the masses and not just your friends. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't feel like it's wrong. Like I wouldn't feel like, oh, when I'm with my friends, I shouldn't talk about this or that. I just feel like I know when I can do it because I know that my friends know that I'm a good person and obviously know that I'm joking. And that's why I have to go so far. When you're with people that you don't know and you're trying to make them laugh, it's harder because they don't know who you are. So they might think like, oh, fuck, this guy's fucked up. So that's why it has to be even funnier. But with movies, it's the same. Like, if you're trying to be funny or dramatic or bring an art piece, I don't think necessarily you should take away everything that's fucked up because it doesn't add to the movie or it's not necessary. I think wouldn't say it's necessary, but I think it does add value. I mean, I'm not saying being fucked up adds value. I'm saying if whatever you're trying to express is good enough, it could add value regardless of it being fucked up or not. Maybe.
Interesting. I can see where you're coming with that. Damn.
Do you think we'll have movies like that again?
Movies like that would portray, that would kind of like make fun or poke at things like that, like mentally challenged people or
Well, I
people
mean
of color.
that or well, I mean
Or,
you don't have
like-
to put it like that. Like
No,
I mean, it's everything. They have also the whole like the gay thing with like 40-year-old virgin. You know how I know you're gay? Like you could say that's like, why is that a joke? Because being gay is bad. You know what I mean? Like, why is it funny for you to be like, you know how I know you're gay? But then at the same time, it's like, is that really ill intended? But I don't know. Maybe we're changing so much that even that we should revise. I don't know. I mean, I feel like we don't have to, but I'm always growing and questioning, you know. But I gotta be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like some of this shit is like when somebody makes a joke like, and then the Latinos came and there were 15 people in one little car. Like that's a stereotype. But if you're funny enough, it might be funny. If it's tacky, if it's like the same jokes, I'm not gonna be offended. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, that wasn't funny.
yeah, that wasn't funny.
But there are the shit that's funny as fuck, and there's something noble about making fun of everyone in the plaza of the community.
So if it was funny enough, you could say that you can make fun of anybody.
I mean, you can find funny in anything. You know, like Louis C.K. is a master at that. I don't know if you know that comedian, but the last special he did, he was talking about. There's this joke, right, where he starts talking about people that don't have. You seen it?
Some of it.
Which
one?
Seriously, it's called.
I think I've kind of.
All right, he's talking about people that don't have legs, right, and how pretty much saying like buying a wheelchair is not an impulse buy, like, you know, because like he saw a wheelchair on a window, and it was like, do you really have to advertise like this is not a impulse buy, right? Like, And then he's like saying like, "What you think somebody just was just crawling around one day and saw it and was like, man, if I got this, you'll make my crawling around a lot less annoying and all this shit." And people just laughing, they're laughing, and then he keeps telling the story like, "Yeah, and I wouldn't have to drag myself since I lost my legs," and everybody's losing, laughing, and then he's like, "In that terrible bombing in the marathon." And then
oh my god.
and then everybody turned on him, right? Like, oh.
Oh.
And then he addresses him like, "What the fuck, you hypocrite pieces of shit! Like, you were you were just laughing at the legless man, right? Like, but not those legless people.
Not those
Oh, only the ones that were born like that, and fuck them. You know, like. So there's this dynamic where
I'm about to watch it.
like I find it like when I watch Louis C.K., I find that search for the fucked up dark shit that's so dark that when he hits the funny is even better, but you have to be a genius to create it. I think that is worthy of value. I do feel that to achieve that type of funny, you can only do it with certain shit like that. You couldn't do it with like. I'm not saying you cannot be funny if you're not fucked up, but there is an art to it for comedians that do fucked up shit. And this goes for like movie making. Like Quentin Tarantino does shit that people might find problematic. But would you say is good enough? And he portrays this artistic piece that's so good that you justify the use of the N-word on Django and this and that on other movies. You know what I mean? Like, I do think the artistic part surpasses the sensitivity bullshit, but it has to be good.
Right. I feel like it could only work if it surpasses the sensitivity. Like, the funny or the art part has to surpass the sensitivity for it to not be, canceled. Right?
No, I think what you're trying to say is that it has to surpass the. It doesn't. I know what I mean is that the sensitivity is like where people would get pissed off.
Right. No, like the sensitivity of people getting pissed off. The art or the comedy in saying that joke or comment or whatever, that has to exceed the amount of people being pissed off.
For what to happen?
For this piece to exist. Otherwise, it'll get canceled because more people are making a fuss about it than it actually is worth seeing.
Okay. So you're saying, yeah, like the quality of it has to be good enough so that it overshadows the bitching about it. Yeah.
Yeah, like do you still listen to R. Kelly?
Sometimes. I mean, not really, but I would like if I'm drinking, with my homies and we're passing the Cavassier.
Or remix Ignition.
Come on. I didn't fresh out the kitchen. I mean, that shit was a classic.
Burn It Up. Come on.
You know what's funny? You know a comedian called Aziz Ansari? He used to be like one of my favorite comedians back in the day. And then he had a special where he's talking about R. Kelly and like how back in the day he used to like him, and then now the whole thing happened with him. But that he's still like at times he's like, hot and fresh out the kitchen. So he's like making fun of like how you have those two things can be true at the same time. And then he kind of got canceled because he went on some date later on in life where the girl was like, not whatever, like they just like sucked each other off or some shit. And the next day she was like, dude, it was just like a bad date at the most, right?
At the most.
But she like released the text messages and made him look like a piece of shit. And he was like very gentlemanish about it, I would say. But anyways, then later he did a special where he's like, it's very eerie because he's sort of like apologizing for it, which you can address it, but I don't think he had to apologize because he could have just been like, look, I'm sorry if anybody felt like it wasn't cool, but for me it was, I don't know. But again, when you're in Hollywood that big, like you kind of have to, follow the guidelines.
Yeah.
But it was funny because
color within the lines.
The R. Kelly thing is a thing that you're like, could you be canceled if you still like him nowadays?
I don't think so, because like yeah, we all acknowledge that what he did was wrong, but that has something to do with his talent as a musician or as a lyricist or as a rapper or R&B singer.
It's like Dave Chappelle's joke where he's like, yeah, Michael Jackson and those kids or whatever, but he made Thriller. He made Thriller.
He made Thriller. Bro, you can't tell me
the art surpassed the sensitivity.
You can't tell me you don't start flapping your arms in the air when you hear "I Believe I Can Fly."
Billie Jean, so now I mean, come on, dog. I ain't thinking about no
It's a
kids.
girl that I am the one. The Billie Jean is on my
But
side.
the kid is lying. I didn't do shit to him.
Damn.
Oh, so yeah, Michael
So
Jackson.
that was the arts and entertainment section.
That was the section. We're pitching this whole pilot to People's Magazine. I think they'll find this very down their path, down their lane. You know.
Oh man.
No, but dude, I think I'm very interested in seeing what's gonna happen in the future with movies, and if we're gonna have like a turnaround, where like in 5-10 years we're gonna start seeing movies that are edgy again, because I don't know, or maybe we're just gonna go so woke that you're never gonna sleep. It's gonna be just wokeness all the time.
Oh man.
You try to fall asleep and some guy just tree hugger just slaps you in
wakes
the
you up.
face like, dog, you gotta be woke.
Oh man. I think people will more likely prefer to ignore shit than to acknowledge it.
You like how so?
Like they'll ignore it because it doesn't affect them. Like they'll ignore it because they're not affected by race or by
You mean like
ethnicity.
they just keep quiet?
They just won't say anything, and they inside their own mind they think whatever they want to think. Like, who's stopping you from thinking whatever you want to think in your mind?
Yeah, but you can like listen to the Broski Doodles and like in your head be like, well, I kind of think some ways like that guy, but I wouldn't fucking make a podcast and show it to the world. But I would listen to him. So maybe you have, I guess, more active people and then more passive people, right? So, and I think that you need both. Like, you need people like me and other. I mean, I'm at the very bottom of the totem pole. I'm not bringing any knowledge or value to the fucking, to
the world.
Yeah.
To the world of YouTube.
Yeah. This is really sort of the grimiest, like at the bottom shit. But
like why are you even watching this?
yeah. No, do watch it. Do watch
No,
it.
please,
It's
please,
really
please.
good. No, but what I'm trying to say is that you have people like me and others that have even more educated voices and voice things out. And then you have the people that listen to it that they're important to. And even if they don't want to be too vocal about it, just listening, they're doing their part as well.
Right.
So even though you are not fucked up, just listening to us allows you to vicariously live through
Our fucked up lives.
fucked up lives. Yeah. That you live it too as well, but you're sort of reconnecting it on the interwebs. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
And now we're going to the section of psychology. No,
Really?
no.
That's a new one. That's a new one for me.
No, that's gonna be on the next episode. We do need to get smarter. We bought books, so we're gonna start reading. I've been thinking of getting a Kindle so that I can have all the books in my hands, in one hand. And yeah, so little by little, we're gonna start reading more, becoming more educated. John's gonna gonna get his GED very soon. And
I just recently bought the entire collection of Dr. Seuss books, so I should be doing good.